Victoria. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, Vida, my pleasure.
Excellent. I'm really excited to talk to you about what your favorite energy tool is. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, my favorite tool is the eighth ray. The eighth ray is an alchemy tool where it helps to transmute and transform energy. So I've been noticing particularly how it helps me shift out of the 3D programming and then kind of balance my masculine and feminine energies, particularly where I've been kind of in my passive feminine for most of my life. So it helps me to draw in those masculine energies when I need to use them.
I love that you're talking about this masculine, feminine, and 3D, but give me a little more context. What does that look like when, say, you're masculine, you're pulling that in, or you're too feminine, or what does that mean?
Okay, so if I look back at the older version of me, I was quite passive feminine, probably would often look for support from like a masculine energy. And so the eighth ray helps me find that within myself and pull that energy either in or out. But yeah, basically identifying that energy within me and helping to balance myself better and how I express and how I show up in the world.
Oh, I like that. So the eighth ray for you is a way to kind of rebalance your energy and how you're expressing and presenting yourself.
As I associate masculine energy as that more logical, taking action. Whereas when I was in my more passive feminine, I'd be very creative, but I would find it difficult to kind of take the next step, take that action step. So that's how I've been using.
That is a great example. Do you have a story of kind of how that works for you or how you experience and use eighth ray?
Yeah. So I've got a story that started about a year ago. And the story is that I was in the gym, I was in a spin class, and just towards the end of the class, the instructor turned up the volume, and I was right by a speaker. And at the time, I felt this like sudden like clink in my ear, and I was a bit like, what was that? A bit odd. And then later that evening, I started to get like sort of little ringing. And then it got progressively worse. Like it was kind of like tinnitus, I guess. And then kind of got the support I needed from ENT. However, this ringing was just getting louder. It was very distracting. Sometimes it would be through the night, like I couldn't sleep. It was just impacting my daily life. Yeah, very nasty. And I was scared because I didn't know if this was, a permanent thing. So I started calling on the eighth ray, and it was like, eighth ray, I command that you turn this down, turn the volume of this ringing down. And I'd be like 50%, 80%, 100%. And this went on for months. And it kind I was doing other stuff as well, but this helped me, I think, with the fear. I think it really helped with fear. And the trusting that there's a tool that I can use that can help with various things. So I was using it for this specific health issue. And then after quite a few months of it still turning up intermittently, I was then like, hang on a minute, why am I asking to turn it down? Why don't I just say, eighth ray, take it away? Like, just get rid of this. So then it was like, eighth ray, I command that you turn this off.
Excellent. Excellent. So you're without ringing. It doesn't ring anymore.
No more ringing. Thank God.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. I love the process that you're talking about that occurred through the whole thing as you're going because often, particularly around health issues, they're complicated, right? Where it's like one thing, it turns out to be another, or your body's so interconnected.
Yeah.
And so that's really interesting with the eighth ray and the way that you're using it because it is a tool, right, that allows you to pull strings out, like multiple things. You're trying to aim at the picture behind the picture. So it's there's a lot of digging it does for you to help you find all the different pieces. Can you talk a little bit about your experience of what it's like when you use the eighth ray?
Yeah.
Like, how are you commanding it? Yeah.
But exactly that, because, I hadn't thought, is it going to work with health issues? But I was like, I'm using it anyway, because this is like, I couldn't get any help any other way. It was really down to me and the eighth ray and just calling on all the support from our guides and angels, really. But the way it works for me is, I mean, I have to try and get into a really neutral state, because if I'm in that fearful state, which I was a lot of the time, it's not really going to work. So it was really getting into that neutral, calm state, commanding it, and then just allowing it for me. And that's when I noticed little shifts. And again, like accepting that it's not going to happen the first time, but don't give up. You know, it's like with anything, you're kind of, I guess, like you're rebuilding a muscle. So you want to keep using it repeatedly. And then over time, I just started to notice that something was happening, and I kept on going with it. But a lot of it was, so removing the fear from me. It was that like you said, the strings of emotions and thoughts and fears that were attached to it. Yeah.
Attached to the ringing. That was kind of the physical example of what energetically was going on.
Yeah.
That you were working on clearing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, do you have any tips or tricks for anyone who is like, hey, I'm playing with the eighth ray and working with it?
I would definitely recommend just trying it with anything and everything. Like, don't just, like keep it rigid to one thing, and trust that it's working. I think it's, really got to believe and trust in it. And by knowing that it's peeling away layers, I think is really important, so that you don't give up, so that you keep persisting with it, and then just noticing how things start to shift in subtle ways. And, with energy, with everything with energy, it's always quite subtle. So, when you can accept that, then, then the magic happens.
I like that, because the eighth ray is really working with your unconsciousness and all those places that are unconscious. So you may not always feel it. It may not feel like it's working, but as you keep applying and trying it, like you said, you're noticing those subtle shifts. You're like, oh, it's a little different today, or it's a little less today.
Yeah.
So that's really good to point out how so much of those layers happen, and they're so unconscious that it's like, nope, just keep going.
Yeah. And how each time I was feeling more, calmer every day, each time I used it. And also a little tip is, I always make sure that, as things shift and change using the eighth ray, I always make sure I thank it. Thank you, eighth ray, for taking it away.
Excellent. Oh, well, thank you, Victoria. I really appreciate you sharing.
You're welcome. Thanks, Vida.
Welcome to Mastering Alchemy Energy Essentials course. Step into your dynamic inner unseen world. Discover grounding techniques to become more centered and present during the day. Make life easier to navigate using energetic tools such as the rose. Feel into and experience a space of well-being as you practice, play, and experiment with the concepts, tools, and strategies in this course. Experience you like never before. Try Mastering Alchemy.